Hey guys, Mr. Everything here, back with another movie review video, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Avengers Endgame. Alright, so it's finally here, Avengers Endgame. Everything has been leading to this. I'm so excited to bring my review to you guys. So for you guys that are new here, how I like to do my reviews, I like to talk about the cast, the story, give some of my positives, some of my negatives, and then give my score. And also the screen you guys are looking at, yes, it is the thumbnail for the video, but don't worry, I'm going to be adding clips and images from the film. And also, this is a non-spoiler review. You guys don't have to worry, there's no spoilers in this review. I'm not even gonna hint towards spoilers in this movie, so you guys are safe. Do not worry if you haven't seen the film, but if you just want to hear my review, feel free to continue watching. All right, so obviously the cast of this film, you guys know Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, etc., etc. And the story of this movie, you guys already know as well. It takes place basically right after Infinity War. The Avengers are trying to figure out a way to undo what Thanos did, which is snapped away half of the universe. So just starting off with the positives, my main positive I would say just right off the bat is the amount of emotion I felt in this film. The two words I would use to describe this movie is satisfying and emotional. Since the opening scene, throughout the whole entire runtime, I felt satisfied yet emotional. Even scenes that weren't even supposed to be emotional, scenes where people are just talking or just the action scenes, I still felt emotional because you knew it was building towards something. And this is no spoiler, you guys know this is sort of like an end of a journey, a passing of the torch. Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers have said that in plenty of interviews, and just looking at the title of this movie, looking at all of these cast members, you know it's going to be the end of the road for some of these characters. And that's not necessarily spoiling anything. I'm just saying that it is sort of the end of a journey for a lot of these characters, and it just felt emotional throughout this film leading up to that build up towards the end of the movie, which yet again I'm not going to go into any details, but still it just felt emotional. Even scenes where people are just talking, you just felt that amount of emotions, and I just loved how they did this. It felt kind of like an indie movie. When anybody asks me what do I prefer, Marvel or DC, I tell them I'm a movie fan because I love movies. I've watched almost every movie from all of these actors, and I love them, if not more, just as much as these comic book movies. I love all these other smaller indie movies that they do, and it really felt like that in so many scenes in this movie. Ever since the movie opened, it didn't feel like an Avengers movie. It felt so cinematically different, and it felt like an indie movie, and just those indie vibes I got in there, and those emotional, great character development scenes, and it gives you memories back to the older Marvel movies, which, speaking of that, my next positive will be the Easter eggs and references to the older Marvel films. There are so many in here, and some of them only the hardcore MCU fans will notice, but I noticed pretty much all of them. I don't even have to watch an Easter egg video, and I'm still gonna watch, the Easter egg breakdown and the ending explain videos because I love watching those, but I honestly don't have to because I caught all of them. There are so many references and Easter eggs to previous Marvel films, and I love the way they did it, and it worked perfectly, and it just felt seamless. It didn't feel out of place, and it just sort of brings you back to those other films. And while watching this film, it made me even more emotional because I was thinking about the first times I saw some of these movies. I started thinking back to when I saw the first Avengers movie and the first Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Iron Man. I started reminiscing back when I was younger, watching those movies in the theater, and it just got me thinking so much, and I was like, this is really the end of a journey. And it just felt so great and so impactful, and yet again it was done in that indie way where it felt very character driven without being super big. Which, get into that, my next positive will be the slow scenes. Now, a lot of people have been complaining that the first 2 hours of this movie is kind of slow, and I do agree with that. I do find that as a negative, which I'll get to my negatives in a minute, but also I thought it was a positive because, yet again, going back to the indie part, it felt like an indie movie. It felt very personal, and there are a lot of scenes in this movie where sure, you could have cut them down, but you needed those character moments because when you get to the final hour of this movie, it's just balls to the wall epicness. Everything you wanted to see in this movie is in there. And there's a lot of things that we all predicted. Like, I thought the Russo brothers were going to give us a totally different movie, but honestly, the trailers that you guys have seen for this movie and all of the theories that you guys have had, most of them did happen. They give us everything that we want and everything that we needed and more. And I love that they did that. And obviously, a positive would be the Russo brothers. They pulled it off again. By far my favorite Marvel directors, and they've always been my favorite Marvel directors ever since Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And what they do with Captain America in this film, I absolutely love. Honestly, I don't even have to talk about the acting here. The acting across the board from everybody is great. But anyway, jump into my negatives. So I have a few here. So as I stated earlier, the first 2 hours are a little bit slow. You definitely could have cut a little bit of scenes out, but like I said, you really did needed those scenes. And also there's a few CGI moments in the movie and a few other scenes that I didn't particularly like, but I can't really talk about that because it'll be spoilers and I can't go too deep into it. But there are a few scenes that I didn't really like that much, and there's also a few scenes where there's a lot going on and it's just like, oh, okay, that's too much. But still, I feel like the Russo brothers did the best that they could with the material that they had. But yeah, there was definitely a few CG moments and a few scenes that I was kind of scratching my head and I was kind of like, overall, I really enjoyed this film. Super emotional. Part of the journey is the end. I can't believe that we're finally here. So anyway, guys, I'm going to give Avengers Endgame an A-. So yeah, you guys comment down below. Tell me what you guys thought of Avengers Endgame if you saw it. Be sure to like, subscribe if you guys are new. Check out my other movie review videos, Avengers Endgame videos, and have a great rest of your day. Alright, bye guys.